Hello everyone, let's continue with Kuntak's Vakroktijivitam. Students, in this second session on theory of Vakrokti, we will talk about the origin of the theory of Vakrokti and the extended application of the term Vakrokti by Acharya Kuntak and other Indian theoreticians. We will also talk about the classification of Vakrokti as given by Kuntak in his Vakroktijivitam. Students, as in my previous video, I have made it very clear to you that Kuntak was not the first one to use the term Vakrokti. So let's see how this term or this concept Vakrokti was used in Indian poetics. Students, in the school of Indian poetics, it was not Kuntaka who was the first to use the theory of Vakrokti. Actually, Acharya Bhama was perhaps the earliest to mention Vakrokti as a concept. And down the centuries, discussions related to Vakrokti were carried out by Dandan, by Vaman, by Rudrakta, and later on by Kuntak and Abhinav Gupta and Raja Bhoj. But there is a marked divergence in the understanding of the concept, in their treatment and in their presentation as well. For example, the early scholars of poetics, the first three ones, Bhama, Dandan and Vaman, they treat Vakrokti to imply modes of expressions which evoke or reveal the beauty that is inherent in the structure of words, that is called Shabdalankar. Here I would like to make it clear that Bhama regards Vakrokti not as an alankar but as a characteristic mode of expression which underlies all alankaras and that which is fundamental to Kavya. And on the other hand, Dandan distinguishes Vakrokti from Swabhokti, the natural way of narration. And later on, Rudrak treats Vakrokti as a mere play of words or pretended speech in which a word or a sentence meant by the poet in one sense is understood by the reader in quite another sense, either because it is uttered with a peculiar intonation which changes the meaning or because the words carry more than one meaning. And then here Vamna differs from Rudrata and treats Vakrokti as an aspect of Arthalankar, where the indicated sense, that is called Lakshana, is brought out or amplified by taking help of similarities. So, Vakrokti, in his view, is basically a metaphor. So, here we see that where Bhama and Dandan use this term in an extended sense, Rudrat and Vaman limit its relevance to a particular figure of speech, that is Shabdalankar or Arthalankar. So here it was Kuntak who fully developed a unique theory of poetics based upon Bhama's explanation of Vakrokti as the distinguishing characteristic of all alankaras. And he expanded the concept to denote selection of words and phrases as also turning of ideas that are peculiar to poetry. He tries to keep the matter-of-fact day-to-day speech away from the language of poetry. We can say that Bhama and Dandan, they use the term in an extended sense, while Vaman and Rudrat employ it to designate a particular figure of speech, whether it be Shabdalankar or Arthalankar. But later on, Kuntak, he elaborated upon Bhama's concept and he just elaborated on Vakrokti as the distinguished characteristic of all poetic figurative language and analyze all poetic speech from the point of view of Vakrokti. For him, Vakrokti is the soul of poetry. As in our previous video, we have also discussed that Kuntak defined Vakrokti as Vakrokti Rav Vedagde Bhangi Bhaniti. Here, Vedagde is for something strange, something strange. Then Bhangi is for gesture, Bhangima that is, and Bhaniti is for Kathan, statement, expression. So that is to say that an utterance characterized by wit or ingenuity or imagination of the poet is Vakrokti. Here, uniqueness of expression that is born of poet's compositional skill and it is adorned by both word and meaning. That is Vakrokti according to Kuntak. And Kuntak just opines that Vakrokti is an indispensable character in the texture of poetry. It is a striking mode of speech that beautifies the verse. And Acharya Kuntak explained his theory of Vakrokti in his treatise Vakroktijivitam. Vakroktijivitam is a treatise on the function of imagination and artistic skill in inventive poetry. Students, Kuntak intended to present a balanced or an alternate view of the picture of poetry. He looked at poetry from the poet's point of view. He attempted to outline the poetic process, that is Kavya Vyapar, as we have discussed in our previous video, that how Kuntak is concerned with Kavya Vyapar and how the Kavya takes shape in the poet's imagination and emerges as a thing of beauty. Kuntak forcefully proposed that instead of merely looking for poetic words and expressions that suggest meanings and evoke emotions of love, etc. in the readers, one could very well also appreciate and take delight in the wonderful poetic genius at work, that is Kavi Karam, which creates poetic expression of matchless beauty, suggesting evocative poetic meanings that lovingly bind into each other, like the ardent lovers. The beauty of poetry cannot be compartmentalized. It is integral to poetry and it resides in the harmony of its wholeness. So in this way, Vakroktijivitam presents Vakrokti as a linguistic manifestation of the basic obliquity of the poet's creative process, the Kavya Vyapar, infusing beauty and elegance to his work. This treatise, Vakroktijivitam, is divided into 4 chapters where Acharya Kuntak has discussed in detail about the different types of Vakrokti. In Vakroktijivitam, Acharya Kuntak has given classification of Vakrokti. According to Kuntak, the Vakrata created by the Kavya Vyapar operates at 6 levels. They are: first is Varna Vinyas Vakrata, that is phonetic obliquity. Second is Pad Pravardha Vakrata, that is lexical obliquity. Then third is Pad Praradha Vakrata, that is grammatical obliquity. Then fourth is Vakya Vakrata, that is sentential obliquity. And fifth is Prakarna Vakrata, that is episodic obliquity. And lastly, Prabandha Vakrata, that is compositional obliquity. Students, here look at this classification very carefully, that commencing from the arrangement of syllables in the first, that is syllable is Varna, its coverage systematically extends from the former and the later parts of a word, as in Pad Pravardha and Pad Prardha. Then fourthly, to a sentence, a Vakya. Then to a specific topic or episode, that is Prakarna, and thereon to the composition as a whole, that is Prabandh. So the logic of this scheme appears to be that it moves progressively from the micro to the macro in the structure of a kavya. Students, as you are all familiar, the smallest unit in the language is the syllable, that is Varna, and including the lexical stem and the grammatical suffix. Next comes the words, which when woven together constitute a sentence. And a series of meaningful sentences help to construct an episode. And the skillful arrangement of the episodes composes a kavya. So in this way, Kuntak has given a very systematic explanation to the theory of Vakrokti in Vakroktijivitam. In our further videos, we will discuss about all these 6 types of Vakrokti as given in Acharya Kuntak's Vakroktijivitam. Thank you.